The following program is made possible by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
That's David Miller at the piano, soon to be joined by Rebecca DuMaine on vocals. It's a very special edition of our show tonight, a concert with two top jazz performers. The game is music, the game is on.
Starry-eyed again, taking a chance on love. I thought the cards were a frame-up, I never would try. But now I'm taking the game up, and the ace of hearts is high. Things are mending now, I see a rainbow blending now. We'll have a happy ending now, we're taking a chance on love. I slip again, about to take that trip again. I've got a grip again, taking a chance on love. Now I prove again that I can make life move again. I'm in the groove again, I'm taking a chance on la 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 love. I never dreamed in my slumbers, and bets are taboo, but now I'm playing the numbers on a little dream for two. On that ball again, I'm riding for a fall again. I'm gonna give my all again, I'm taking a chance on love. The game up, and the ace of hearts is high. Things are mending now, I see a rainbow blending now. We'll have a happy ending now, we're taking a chance on love. We'll have a happy ending now, taking a chance on love.
Yeah. That was Dave Miller on the piano and the musical stylings of Rebecca DuMaine on vocals. Welcome to a very special edition of the game. Welcome to you watching at home and to the studio audience who has the privilege, I think, of joining us to watch here. I'm Mark Simon, and we are thrilled to be joined by two top jazz performers. I'm over here now. I'll look at this camera instead. Two top jazz performers, Dave Miller and Rebecca DuMaine, who are related by not marriage. No.
By blood.
By blood. We're going to, right at the top of the show, we're going to show a photo of them from a long time ago. Garrett, if you want to put that photo up. It shows you how long they've been making music together. It's Dave sitting at the piano and Rebecca sitting on his shoulders.
Well, I think that's Rebecca at the piano.
No, it's you. Oh. It's you. Now, let's talk first about the song you just played, Taking a Chance on Love. Vernon Duke, lyrics by John Latouche and Ted Fetter, a 1940 song from Cabin in the Sky, which is a legendary Broadway musical because it had first all-black cast. What is it about this song that appeals to you? Why did you pick this song?
We like to start with a swinging tune that's a little jazzy. This has been recorded many, many times. This reached #1 on the hit parade, I think it was 1943. I think it was it Benny Goodman, I think?
Yep.
And it's always been one of our favorite tunes. And we thought we'd open with it tonight because it had a swing feel to it.
And what about you, Rebecca? What do you like about this song?
I love the fact that it's about taking a chance. I mean, I love the lyrics, and I love the fact that there's hope. And even though you might fall, you might as well get on the horse again.
Yeah, because that's really the repeating theme.
It is, absolutely.
Theme is,
yeah.
I'll take another chance, really,
yeah,
isn't it?
Even though I might fall on my face.
Yeah. Well, next song I think we've got is a samba number.
It's a samba, sure.
Bossa Nova?
It is.
I'm not going to pronounce it right, so you go ahead and...
So danço samba.
Yeah, listen to you, the linguist. Antonio Carlos Jobim. Now, you guys play a fair amount of Jobim.
Yes,
Clearly, he's somebody who's important to you. What is it about him?
Oh, my gosh.
For me, bossa nova is extremely relaxing. So there's something about the whole feel that literally soothes my soul. So.
Well, let's soothe our soul. Let's so danzo samba.
So danço samba, vai, 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 vai. So danço samba, vai. So danço samba, vai, 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 vai. So danço samba, vai. Já não sei o twist, já tem demais, mas não sei, me cansei do calypso e cha-cha-cha. So danço samba, vai, 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 vai. So danço samba, vai. Cacarei, cacarei, vai, varero, dero, dero, bavarero, tendando. Cacarei, cacarei, cacaquero, hi, tateiro, bavarero, de, 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 puido. Vai, varero, dero, dero, bavarero, dero, dero. Cacarei, cacarei, cacaquero, hi, bavero, barandetto. So danço samba, vai, 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 vai. So danço samba, vai. So danço samba, vai, 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 vai. So danço samba, vai. Já não sei o twist, já tem demais, mas não sei, me cansei do calypso e cha-cha-cha. So danço samba, vai, 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 vai. So danço samba, vai. So danço samba, vai. So danço samba, vai.
It's a fun song. I think it actually translates to jazz and samba. And I read that João Gilberto was the first to actually perform the song.
That's right.
It's some legendary bossa nova jam
a
session.
1962, I think, jazz concert that was written up as the bossa nova concert of all time, at least as of then. Giants were in the pennant race at that time.
So I recall, if McCovey had just hit that line drive a few feet higher. So you're classically trained in the theater. You began being trained as a classical pianist, and both of you have moved to jazz. How did that happen? What was it about this? I know you spent quite a number of years in New York.
I did.
Working at the Actors Studio, teaching.
With teaching, yeah. So first I was an actress for many years. I did a lot of regional theater. I did a lot of Shakespeare festivals, some television and voiceover work. And I started teaching after I got my master's in acting, and I started teaching voice. And it was through teaching voice and teaching that I remembered how much I loved singing. And I don't teach singing, I teach Shakespeare and accents and accent reduction. But it was, I don't know, it was like a homecoming to jazz. And it was around the time that I was pregnant with my first child. And it was like some weird sort of, I don't know, cellular thing that said, come on home to these vibrations, you know? And it's like the culmination of,
the Bay Area.
I did, I moved back here, and it's been like a second path.
Yeah. Now, you resisted this for a long time, didn't you? I mean, you grew up around this, and so like any normal child, it's like, well, I'm not gonna.
You want to do what my dad does.
Yeah. No. But how did, Is it better than you ever thought it would be? How is it
it's the
compared to
best.
what you thought it would be like?
I didn't ever think about what it would be because it wasn't my plan,
Yeah.
you know. But to me, it's the culmination of lyric and story and music, which is so important and essential. And yeah, I listened to it my whole life, so it was already sort of in my bones. So, and just to be able to do it with this guy's pretty darn cool.
Yeah, well, we'll talk more about you in a minute, but let's play another song. You're Getting to Be a Habit with Me, I think, is up next.
Okay, sure.
You want to know the origin of this song?
We'll get to it after you play it.
All right.
I'll run the show, thanks.
Cut.
Every kiss, every hug seems to act just like a drug. You're getting to be a habit with me. Let me stay in your arms. I'm addicted to your charms. You're getting to be a habit with me. I used to think your love was something that I could take or leave alone. But now I just can't do without my supply. I need you for my own. Now I can't break away. I must have you every day, as regularly as coffee or tea. You've got me in your clutches and I can't break free. You're getting to be a habit with me. Every kiss, every hug seems to act just like a drug. Let me stay in your arms. I'm addicted to your charms. I used to think your love was something that I could take or leave alone. But now I just can't do without my supply. I need you for my own. No, I can't break away. I must have you every day, as regularly as coffee or tea. You've got me in your clutches and I can't break free. You're getting to be a habit with me. Every kiss, every hug seems to act just like a drug. You're getting to be a habit with me. Let me stay in your arms. I'm addicted to your charms. You're getting to be a habit with me. I used to think your love was something that I could take or leave alone. But now I just can't do without my supply. I need you for my own. Now I can't break away. I must have you every day, as regularly as coffee or tea. You've got me in your clutches and I can't break free. You're getting to be a habit with me. Can't break it. You're getting to be a habit with me.
That may be the first song about addiction. I mean, it was actually, for its time, it was probably had its own share of controversy because it's about being addicted. I mean, that's really it was considered shameful in those days. So this is a Harry Warren song, the lyrics by
Al Dubin.
Al Dubin.
Mm-hmm.
This was from the show 42nd Street. Evidently, this particular title came about because one of the employees at Warner Brothers was asked one day, "Are you still going out with that guy?" As though, "Are you still going out with that guy?" And she said, "Yeah, I guess he's getting to be a habit with me."
Yeah, you can hear the subtext. It's like, "Why aren't you going out with me instead?"
Yeah,
right?
So, someone then wrote a beautiful tune.
Right. Tell me why you like this song. What is it about?
It just swings. We heard Elian Elias play this in a Brazilian style at SF Jazz about 3 months ago, and it just was phenomenal. And we just decided to put it in the show. Frank Sinatra, of course, had a fabulous rendition of this years ago. And so we came up with our arrangement of it, which I think is a little different. So it was fun.
It's a song that lends itself to someone who likes phrasing.
Yeah.
And clearly that's one of the things that draws you to songs is how can you phrase them.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about when you're trying to make those lyrics come alive for people?
It really depends on the song, but oftentimes it's trying to be improvisational in the moment, which is one of the things that I try to teach my acting students, is not to be set in how it's going to go, because that's not how life goes. So even though there's a structure to the song, you know, how can kind of you almost tease yourself with a phrase or moving into another bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about how she turned to jazz. You started off learning classical piano, but you were very, very young when you really became interested in jazz. What was it that drew you to jazz?
Well, dating myself a bit, this is the 50s, and I grew up in New York, and a lot was going on in jazz, even an 8 or 9-year-old could appreciate. I rebelled, as a lot of kids do, about the rigor of classical. My mom found for me a person who played on Broadway in the pits, as they will, and said, maybe you'd like to take from him. And I gravitated toward a fellow named Milton Krause, thinking that he would sort of help me understand what it is that I was doing naturally, playing by ear. And sure enough, what he did really was to impose a bit more rigor, and I was able to accept that. And I think jazz really is essential, I think, to have a classical root. Jazz is classical after all in many respects. It swings, it has a lot of improv that's attached to it on the melody side, but I think counterpoint is a big element of jazz, and counterpoint is a big element of classical, and some of my favorite piano players are those who play in that particular style.
Now, how much is it improvised? Do you know what you're going to do? Have you thought it through? Are you planning? Or how spontaneous are you going to be? Because sometimes you can get stuck if you're not at least thinking ahead a little bit.
Well, I think most pianists would say if you get stuck and you do something you wish you hadn't done, do it again.
Yeah.
Make it a motif.
You know,
for real.
Like you did it on purpose.
I meant to do that.
Yeah, that's one of the
I would say
techniques.
we take a lot of risk when we're arranging, when we're coming up with intros and endings, and if we're doing a scat section together, then we can just really mess around. And then once we have a little bit of a structure, then we can kind of play within the structure. But yeah.
But improvisation is really pegged to a structure. It's the harmonic structure that isn't going to change. So if I'm improvising on a solo, the chord structure isn't changing from when Rebecca did her rendition of the tune, but I'm creating a melody trying to stay reasonably close to the song so that it is, in the kind of shows that we do, it's still recognizable as the song we were doing, but brings some additional melodic element to it.
You talked about the word play. The next song has a lot of playfulness to it, so next song is Haven't We Met, so why don't you go ahead and do that one.
And this thing keeps...
One of our favorites.
I've ordered some rain for tomorrow. The skies will be sunny but wet. And out of nowhere you're suddenly there, and I'll say, yeah, pardon me, haven't we met? I've ordered some sunshine with showers, and I've got my scenery set. Right there with a thump, our umbrella's gonna bump, and I'll say, yeah, yeah, pardon me, haven't we met? Accidents can happen, and into one I'm gonna slide. There's a good chance of finding romance when two bet that's just how it happened when Romeo met Juliet. Somewhere I read that old Romeo said, pardon me, haven't we met? Ba-ba-do-dai, ba-do-dai, dee-day. Ba-ba-do-dai, ba-do-dai, dee-day. There's a good chance of finding romance when two hearts collide, and I'll bet that's just how it happened when Romeo met Juliet. Somewhere I read that old Romeo said, pardon me. He said, pardon me. He said, pardon me. Haven't we? Ba-ba-do-dai, ba-do-dai, dee-day. Ba-ba-do-dai, ba-do-dai, dee-day. Ba-ba-do-dai, ba-do-dai, da-do-de-do, dee-day.
Nice. That's by the great Kenny Rankin, who died in 2009 from lung cancer, of all things. But an amazing voice.
Just velvet, silk,
astonishing voice.
Heavenly voice.
Yeah. You know, as a writer, what I love about this song is you talk about counterpoint in jazz, and there's counterpoint in the lyrics. The sky will be sunny but wet.
Yeah.
I've ordered some sunshine with showers. It's really nice imagery,
lovely,
and it's very much fun. So what is it about this song that appeals to you, Rebecca?
For me, for sure, it's the story. It's the story of love, and it's playful, and it brings up Shakespeare, which is of course one of my passions. So I love the lyric of Romeo and Juliet, and that maybe their meeting in fact was not by chance. You know, it's really lovely.
You've mentioned before when you've performed this song that you like songs that tell stories.
I do.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that there's a beginning, a middle, and an ending, and that there's a journey that happens with whoever is singing or speaking these words, that there's something that's happening. So it's very engaging. It helps me to figure out where I'm going, and makes the words pop. Yeah. They're important.
Now, Kenny Rankin's version of this is so astounding.
It's amazing.
That I didn't realize it was a waltz tempo until you and I talked about it the first time. And in the context of that, you said waltzes are difficult to do with a jazz because they're so locked into them.
Yeah, you have to vary it. By the way, I think the audience should know that this particular song was introduced to us by none other than Mark Simon. I was in his office one day. We worked together during the daytime and play like this at night, I guess. But he said, "Do you ever hear this song?" And I hadn't heard the song before, and then I introduced it to Rebecca, and it was immediately
right away.
I just, as the lyrics hit Rebecca, to me the melody and the chord structure just resonated. So thank you for that.
Well,
you know, what's great too is that I would be, when I hear a song that I love, I play it over and over again like a crazy person. So I was playing it and singing it in the car, and then my kids were asking about Romeo and Juliet, and that brought up a fantastic conversation about Shakespeare and about that story, and then we watched West Side Story, and it opened up a big avenue for them to learn about literature. And
well, there are some songs too that not many that you can play over and over again, and they don't get tiresome. Yeah. This is one of those songs, I think, that has a melody to it that always feels fresh. Speaking of fresh, let me ask you what kind of musician she is. When I ask you what Rebecca, what her singing style is, what sort of musician she is, How would you answer that?
She's a stylist. As she said, she conveys a lyric. Her pitch is perfect. Her diction is perfect. How many times do you hear a singer singing and you're wondering or struggling to hear the words? With Rebecca, it's there, and the acting training certainly, I'm sure, is part of it, but to me, that's part of it. And she's, as the song goes, she's got rhythm,
yeah.
So she definitely can swing. She's the whole package.
When you first started doing this, we were fortunate to see you, I think it was at Bach, Dancing and Dynamite Society, or whatever. I always get the name mixed up.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
the first time, maybe it wasn't the first time, I think it may have been the second time you performed. You're a different singer now than you were then.
Different, yeah.
Because you were much more of a theatrically trained, I think, in some ways. That's how I would describe it.
For
How would you have
sure.
described it?
I was careful. I think I was just really careful because it was new and I didn't really know what I was doing, and I was playing with all these pros, you know, and I was like, who the heck do I think I am to get up here and do this, you know? And then I had to learn to go, it's cable, I'm allowed to say things.
Sure.
I was able to say, F it. You know, I have to find out what I say to my students. This is why I can only teach undergrad and grads. If I taught in the elementary, I'd be fired.
Yeah.
But I had to just go, you know what? I got to figure out what my style is. And I think it took a couple years of kind of learning and flying on the job and going, wow, that was too safe. That was really too safe. And to finally figure out, okay, now I got this. And there's always somewhere else to go.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You never arrive.
One of the other things that occurs to me is because you had experience on the stage in a role. The role you're playing is yourself. You're much more
Very
exposed.
different. Very different.
Was that a difficult thing for you to get used to? Or are you just such a natural performer that you were happy to be
No,
out?
it was different for sure because I didn't have, you know, the sort of confines of character. Definitely. I think that was sort of part of it at the beginning of being careful. And then finally, it was very freeing to go, actually, I can just be me. How nice. You know, and I can be silly, and I can be funny, and I can be serious. And all of those things that I would bring to a role, I can just do all at once in me.
It's like a friend of mine once said, you might as well be yourself, everybody else is taken. Why don't you try the next song, I've Never Been in Love Before, classic Frank Lesser tune.
And I think this is an example of growth because this is a tune which 5 years ago we probably wouldn't have done. And so you'll see some risk being taken here as we work some bebop lines together. And that is part of the growth process, I think, as well.
I've never been in love before. Now all at once it's you. It's you forevermore. I've never been in love before. I thought my heart was safe. I thought I knew the score. But this is wine that's all too strange and strong. I'm full of foolish song, and out my song must pour. So please forgive this helpless haze I'm in. I've never really been in love before. Ba-da-ba-do-ba-da-ba-do-ba-diddly-da-day. Ba-ba-ba-da-ba-do-ba-da-do-day. Ba-da-day-do-day. Diddly-da-day. Ba-da-ba-do-ba-da-we-do. Ba-ba-ba-do-ba-da-we-day. Ba-ba-ba-da-ba-do-day. Ba-da-we-do. Diddly-da-day. Ba-da-ba-do-ba-da-ba-do-ba-diddly-da-day. Ba-da-ba-do-ba-da-ba-do-ba-diddly-da-day. Ba-ba-ba-da-ba-do-ba-day. I've never been in love before. Now, all at once, it's you. It's you forevermore. I've never been in love before. I thought my heart was safe. I thought I knew the score. But this is wine that's all too strange and strong. I'm full of foolish song, and out my song must pour. So please forgive this helpless haze I'm in. I've never really been in love before. 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 Ba-da-ba-da-da-day before.
Yes, that was Dave Miller and Rebecca DuMaine doing I've Never Been in Love Before from Guys and Dolls from the Broadway show. We're going to take a quick break. You stick around. We'll be right back with our live studio audience and a performance by Dave Miller and Rebecca DuMaine. Stick around.
It's been over 150 years since Wells Fargo first opened for business. Since then, we've enjoyed your community support, and we're passionate about returning it. Every day, Wells Fargo team members roll up their sleeves and donate their time to organizations and charitable groups throughout the Bay Area. Nationally, we've committed even more. In just the past 2 years alone, we've donated over $70 million to support schools and educational programs. It's a commitment we're proud of. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
Welcome back to a very special edition of the game. We are joined by Summit recording artists Dave Miller and Rebecca DuMaine. They're here for a concert in front of a studio audience. So folks have gave up a little bit of their Friday night to be here with us and enjoy some of the music. We just played I've Never Been in Love Before from Guys and Dolls. It isn't in the movie. It's only in the...
It's not in the movie, that's
yeah, it's
right.
only in the
The
Broadway.
reason is because Brando could not sing it.
Yeah.
So they changed it. They put a different song in.
It's a hard song.
It's,
Yeah.
It's...
But now we're going to go to what may be the most recorded song ever written. So why don't you just start in on that? We'll talk about it in a minute.
Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. Now it looks as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Suddenly, there's a shadow hanging over me. I'm not half the girl I used to be. Oh, yesterday came suddenly. Why he had to go, I don't know. He wouldn't say. I said something wrong. Now I long for yesterday. Yesterday, love was such an easy game to play. Now I need a place to hide hide away. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Why he had to go, I don't know. He wouldn't say. I said something wrong. Now I long for yesterday. Yesterday, love was such an easy game to play. Now I need a place to hide away. Oh, I believe in yesterday.
So many of your earlier songs that you're saying were all about sort of the excitement of a new love. This one's a heartbreaker song.
That's really
Why do you think it has been so widely recorded?
Boy, it's a beautiful song. What can I say? It's so adaptable. When you think of the first version of this song in the Beatles, it sounded right, but anyone else who sings it or plays it, it sounds right as well. That's all I can say. It's
very
you can hear.
relatable. I think it's also very relatable, the theme of it. You know, everybody has a yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you find yourself getting caught up in the song sometimes? I mean, it's a very moving song.
It's really moving. You know, it's. I recently had to sing at a memorial for my best friend who lost her life to cancer, and I had to sing this song. And normally, I really try to connect to the audience and to the lyrics, and I found myself having to, I don't know, pull back a little bit because otherwise I would have been wrecked.
Yeah.
You can't really cry and sing.
Yeah.
Too much snot. So it's interesting, you know. It was hard.
Now, some of the songs you do have been recorded by some of the most famous and most accomplished singers. Sinatra's a good example. Does it ever intimidate you to think, oh my God, why do I invite a comparison? No.
Hey, hopefully. I don't know. You can't really control what people think and compare. If you do that, then you shouldn't do this work. Do you know what I mean?
There have been 22,000 recordings, I believe, of this song. What's one more? You know.
Maybe someone will like our version, and if they don't, well, go listen to the other one. You know what I mean?
How do you pick a song to do? You know, there's so many to choose from, and you guys really pride yourselves often in picking songs that are clearly you're closely tied to the American songbook, but you pride yourself on picking songs that aren't widely known. This is an example of one that is widely known, but how do you pick a song to perform?
We each hear things and call the other person right away when we hear something that just hit us. I think of a song, a Frank Sinatra song that we're not doing tonight. It's called Take a Chance. I had never heard of all the Sinatra songs over the years. I had not heard that. And on satellite radio, the first Friday of every month is a Sinatra Day, and I heard this song. I almost had to pull over to the side of the road because I hadn't heard it before. I said, you got to go hear this. And 2 days later, we had an arrangement of it. So part of it is just hearing things you haven't heard before, so that it's not going to be something like yesterday. So for me, that's looking for new tunes.
Yeah, or also listening to artists that I love. Irene Krall and Nancy Wilson. Sometimes just listening to their stuff can spark, I don't know, a tune that really lands, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of listening.
Well, we're going to do another Brazilian song, So Nice, also known as the Summer Samba.
That's right.
Someone to hold me tight, that would be very nice. Someone to love me right, that would be very nice. Someone to understand each little dream in me. Someone to take my hand and be a team with me. So nice. Life would be so nice if one day I'd find someone who would take my hand and samba through life with me. Someone to cling to me, stay with me right or wrong. Someone to sing to me some little samba song. Someone to take my heart and give his heart to me. Someone who's ready to give love a start with me. Oh yes, that would be so nice. Should it be you and me, I can see it would be nice. Someone to hold me tight, that would be very nice. Someone to love me right, that would be very nice. Someone to understand each little dream in me. Someone to take my hand and be a team with me. So nice. Life would be so nice if one day I'd find someone who would take my hand and samba through life with me. Someone to cling to me, stay with me right or wrong. Someone to sing to me some little samba song. Someone to take my heart and give his heart to me. Someone who's ready to give love a start with me. Oh yes, that would be so nice. Should it be you and me, I can see it would be nice. Should it be you and me, I can see it would be nice. Should it be you and me, I can see it would be nice.
Nice. Nice. If you just joined our show, well, that's kind of a shame, really. We're enjoying the music of Dave Miller and Rebecca DuMaine. They also are part of, they have other fellows who play with them. And they're frequently at Angelica's in Redwood City and Savannah in San Carlos. During the show, we'll be showing Rebecca's website address.
Great.
And you can go subscribe to their mailing list and get the list of all their gigs. And you can also get the list of their discography, and I'd recommend you go get it all. We all drive a lot. This is great music to drive with. I asked earlier what kind of musician she was. What kind of musician is your dad?
I want to get emotional because I have to sing. He is very gentle person, and it's very subtle. His touch is very subtle, and he's been enamored of George Shearing his whole life, and there's something about the stylings that he has picked up from that have become sort of a motif through his jazz playing, but has made it his own. He's very generous with me as a vocalist. It's evolved as we've been working together. He used to like to do lots of things. Too many notes, Mozart. And he's learned to kind of step back a little bit and like show off in the solo. But God, he's my hero. I think one of the reasons that I didn't pursue this was because I was simply intimidated by the fact that A, he has perfect pitch. He can listen to anything on the radio and come home and play it. That's a little daunting for a child to be like, I think I'm gonna pick up the flute and I can't do the same thing that he can do. And at the same time, he's very patient with people who are learning. And I could go on, but I don't know, we have time.
That's very, very kind. Let me say, Rebecca, from the time that, from that photo you showed, learned this type of music. Has other interests, certainly, as kids and teenagers in the 70s and 80s, but jazz has always been at the root of it. And she actually played with my band at Trader Vic's when she was 16, before going in a different direction to college at Duke and then the Actors Studio where she was teaching and got her MFA. But this has always been part of it, and the growth has just been absolutely enormous. Let me say this, 5 years ago, this would have been the Dave Miller duo. This is now truly the Rebecca DuMaine duo, because she is the featured performer. And what I've learned from her and from the other musicians I play with is it's very different being the accompanist for a singer. All the years that I played, I was an instrumentalist. And so it's been a wonderful learning experience together to find space, leave some room, do infilling harmonically, and so for both of us, this period of time has been one. It's nice to get older and learn new tricks, you know.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if it's nice to get
better.
older. Quite
I
frankly.
said, and.
The alternative.
Put the two
True.
together.
Very true.
Now, the Dave Miller Trio has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
It's gone through some personnel changes as people have gotten older.
Yeah.
But there's a substantial difference between what you played with as a trio and learning to play with a vocalist.
That is very true.
You talked about filling, but it's also, I guess in some ways, taking a back seat.
Very much so. So the drummer that I've been with for 4 decades, that's one constant, you know. From time to time we've had to have some substitute drummers, but Bill Belasco, who's on all of our recordings, has been a great friend for more than 40 years. And I've had the pleasure of and the learning experience of playing with some marvelous bassists who have played all over the world. Mario Sirachi, most notably, who was here on an earlier show, and
a legend.
Truly a legend.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the telephone song. What I like most about this is it goes buzz buzz, which is funny because when it was written, phones rang.
That's right.
They buzz now.
Well, the buzz buzz is the busy signal.
Right.
Right? Which people don't know. I mean, my children don't know what a busy signal is.
Yeah,
you
because
know?
they get
and my students don't, because A, they have call waiting, or B, they're texting. Do you know?
Yeah.
So having that, I mean, I'm old enough to remember that you just have one line, and if you want to talk to somebody and they're on the phone, you can't talk to them. You have to wait until they get off the phone, and then maybe it will ring through. Yeah. But
this is another Brazilian song, Roberto Menescal, and Astrid Gilberto is supposed to have written the Brazilian lyrics.
She did.
Norman Gimbel wrote the English lyrics. He made quite a living writing English lyrics to bossa nova songs.
Yeah.
So, the telephone song.
Okay.
Buzz, buzz, line is busy every time that I phone Buzz. He's the longest talker I've ever known. Buzz, buzz, I've been trying hard to reach him all day. Buzz, when I get him I'll forget what to say. Should I call the operator? Is the number that he gave me my own? Buzz, buzz, I've been sitting here and dialing all day. Buzz, gotta get him and there must be a way. Buzz, buzz, if you heard the way he begged me to call Buzz, he would never understand it at all. When I met him he was quiet, but now he's learned to talk. Buzz, buzz, think I'm going to give up. Can't stand it anymore. Buzz, buzz, I've decided that this romance is through. Can it be true that it is ringing? I can't believe it. Wait till we say hello. buzz, buzz. Line is busy every time that I phone Buzz. He's the longest talker I've ever known. Buzz, buzz. I've been trying hard to reach him all day. Buzz. When I get him, I'll forget what to say. Should I call the operator? Is the number that he gave me my own? Buzz, buzz. I've been sitting here and dialing all day. Buzz. Gotta get him, and there must be a way. Buzz. If you heard the way he begged me to call Buzz, you would never understand it at all. When I met him, he was quiet, but now he's learned to talk. Buzz, buzz, think I'm going to give up. Can't stand it anymore. Buzz, buzz, I've decided that this romance is through. Can it be true that it is ringing? I can't believe it. Wait till we say hello.
Now, not on this song, but you scat sing on a number of songs.
I do, yeah.
How hard is that?
It's really hard when you're first learning.
Does it feel self-conscious?
I think I did. I can't speak for everybody, but yeah, I mean, bad scat is like scat that you find in the woods. You know, you don't want to be like improvising when you don't know what you're doing. So it can be really great, or it can really be like, let's hook her off the stage kind of thing. But now it's really fun, you know, now that I have more confidence.
Performing together as father-daughter, but also clearly as co-musicians. How much, the two of you are clearly in sync. How much of that is because you're father and daughter? How much has that influenced how your music has evolved? We're going to put that picture up one more time, too. The two of them.
You know, every once in a while, in the middle of a tune, I'll look up and I'll realize what's going on. I really try to have to repress that because we're working and we're performing and we're creating, but
I mean, what's going on like, holy smoke,
this is my daughter, and how lucky can I be to have this in addition to everything else in the family that she's raising, and a wonderful husband and 2 children who are my greatest friends. But we have this in addition, and there's no way to explain how much that means.
You know, it's funny. There's, can't even speak. It's very easy and relaxed, and I think we're connected in a soulful way. So I think it is a huge part of why we work together as a team. And I don't really stop and go, that's my dad, until every once in a while I go, wow, that's my dad, that's pretty cool. But for the most part, he's the musician, and when we're working, and the fact that he is my dad makes it easy for us to sort of telecommunicate, you know, because we've been doing it my whole life.
Right. I think of the Lincoln line, the mystic chords that bind us. You talked a little bit about your influences, Irene Krall. Who else?
Nancy Wilson, Blossom Dearie,
Nancy Wilson.
Peggy Lee. And then, I mean, for a while there, when I was a kid, I was pissed that I couldn't be Nat King Cole or Frank Sinatra, because those guys are really hip and really cool. Do you know what I mean? So then I had to investigate some chicks.
Yeah. I would imagine we start and end with George Shearing for you.
Well, it's not the only person for sure, but certainly just an incredible influence. A trained classical piano player, blind at birth, and a lot of what he does, I no doubt, stems from the fact that he was sightless, and so a lot of his lines are chromatic. He moved chords, and I think that is something that I've learned as a technique in learning harmonics, but there have been other jazz pianists like Bill Evans, Errol Garner, at least from that era, that I listened to a lot. But when all is said and done, I will particularly listen to Shearing accompanying vocalists. And if anyone in the audience has not heard George Shearing vocalists or songs with vocalists like Mel Torme and Peggy Lee and Ernestine Anderson, masterful.
Mel Torme albums. Stuff is classic. Well, we're at the end of the show, believe it or not, but this is the right way to play off.
Yeah.
You've been watching a very special edition of The Game with Dave Miller and Rebecca DuMaine. You can see them any number of places, but we're going to play the George Shearing classic, Lullaby of Birdland, which was his tribute to the jazz club Birdland, named for the legendary Charlie Bird Parker.
So he would end many of his concerts, we saw lots of them, with words such as this: I've composed over 300 tunes in my life, most of which have vanished into obscurity. This is the one that didn't.
birdland, that's what I always hear when you sigh. Never in my birdland could there be ways to reveal in a phrase how I feel. Have you ever heard two turtle doves bill and coo when they love? That's the kind of magic music we'll make with our lips when we kiss. And there's a weeping old willow, he really knows how to cry. That's how I'd cry on my pillow if you should kiss me farewell and goodbye. Lullaby of birdland, whisper low, kiss me sweet and we'll go flying high in birdland, high in the sky up above. We're in love.
Yeah. Thank you. That's good.